I'm recording it for my purpose. I'm like hearing a lot of things, what I like about Trump versus what I disagree with him. I feel, first of all, we need to pay respect to who's the president, and we haven't done that. That's because we are using our comprehension skills to assess somebody like our supervisor, and that itself is in my opinion, incorrect. I feel, hey, if you want to agree with him, that's fine, but don't make him look silly, and that's what we are doing. We are discrediting our own country, and other countries are picking on it, and that's not fair to our president, okay? Because it's like our family fight. When keep it inside, it's between you and me, and don't let another person make fun of my boss, so something like that. So that's one thing that I strongly, that's why when people view and oppose him, feel we need to keep quiet and let us see how he does it. One thing I was impressed was, first of all, we had hit a debt ceiling, 20, so he did put a ceiling. Everybody before that wouldn't do that. And so he put a stop to it. The minute he stopped, he immediately cut down certain funding. And even though it is bad, but the debt dropped immediately to 12, let's say from 20 to 12, but the thing is, if you don't sustain, just like AA programs, right, each one has to be independent and sustain yourself. If you don't sustain yourself, you have no business to be in business. That's the first thing I will tell as a business person. So the second thing I like about him is he did want to restructure the healthcare, but people were so opposed to it. He let it run just the same. And by doing that, he the other person is baffled, but we don't have an answer still. So but that doesn't mean this problem didn't start with Trump. It has been going on for 75 years. So you cannot really put somebody as a scapegoat and blame him for everything. The third thing I finally see, he went and strictly made rules for all the industry. If they outsource, they will never ever be given any liberty in tax or anything. He forced them to take back the outsourcing. So to see that result will probably take 10 years. You cannot that's why actually I do cannabis research. I've been researching for 4 years. I've spent almost $100,000 on my own. Okay, and we started training people. Actually, I got approved to do educational credit. Each 1 hour they spend with me, it's 1 credit hours, and if they spend 5 credit hours with me, it's 1 college credit. Okay, so we are doing, and one guy has been working with me. So this is the sponsorship for, and I do cannabis for addiction recovery. Okay, so my husband also says the same. How come we cannot see money yet? And so the guy who comes and he's been interning with me for and there's a California company I joined. They charged me $30,000 for this, but I told them they were teaching it very differently, so I paid only half. I said I cannot do this because it's not correct for Massachusetts. So I told them I'll train your trainers too. So I'm way ahead that way too. So this guy has been training with me because we went to the course together. He didn't pay. He wants to learn indirect. And his wife is telling him, since you're putting every week going for this program, I don't see money yet. But the problem is, right, Colorado, that's the way they started. People were struggling. They were going bankrupt, but they stayed the course. Took through 3 years to get ahead. So I feel it's not about making money. It's like being in the right trajectory. It's like you're on the top of a rubber band, okay? It's being stretched. The minute it gets released, you're going to hit the top. That's the way I think of it. I'm saying I'm standing on a rubber band. And sometimes, I am wasting a lot of resources, but at one day it's all falling into place, so I feel that's what Trump did. We might not see the result, but the thing that fell into focus for me last week, finally it hit home when there is a very big company in India called Mahindra. Mahindra and Mahindra makes jeeps like Hummer
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all the terrain vehicles we use for the forest. They actually were forced by Trump to build their factory in Detroit.
wow, that's great.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So I think that's when I saw a shift,
Mhm.
because when you see physically something being done, so now you have to hire American
Yes, yeah,
workers.
of
You
course, of
have
course.
to. I mean, you can only have supervisor coming from India,
Yeah,
but you have cut work done here. So when he brings back jobs to this country, how can we not support
yeah,
him?
of course, of
So like
course.
I think skilled labor is going to be huge in this country, because that's how China got big. All
Yeah,
the factory we gave it out to them, and we actually outsource. I heard like the chip, right, the
yeah,
platinum. We used to be number one producer because it was cheap. We sold it to China, and now they know how to mine and stuff, and we lost that skill.
yeah, of
30
course.
years.
Yeah, yeah.
30 years we don't have the skill. How many years it's going to take ours to get that back,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So at least I was so glad when Mahindra is coming back here,
yeah.
because they are the number one in terrain vehicles.
Oh,
And I was thinking, wow, like that's when I finally saw the sunshine.
yeah, I'm sure.
So when I saw the news, I was cheering. I said,
Mhm.
you know what? I see that, and I don't know whether it is good or bad, but I feel he has good intention.
Yes, of course.
But he has, also challenges, because I don't know why he tweets so much, but that's his
Yeah, yeah,
personality.
yeah, yeah.
You need to take his personality. Like I think how they used to say in ancient words, they said, "Don't throw the baby with the bathwater."
That's very good.
That's exactly
Yeah,
where we are. So I feel we need to support the cause. You can disagree with him as a person, but just like in AA, what is it called? It's principles before personality. And this month it's actually. Do you know I do 12-step program?
very much more about
So it's positive anonymous 12 step. It's all about behaviors. One of the things we do is each month is a step. This is month four,
yeah,
April. Okay, April 4th is about moral inventory of what we are. And I feel just like Jesus said, don't throw stones until you correct it in you.
yeah,
So if you're going to correct something, stop everybody tweeting in America.
yeah, of
You
course, of
know?
course. Yeah, that's pretty smart.
So I feel like, don't go after one guy
Yeah,
when
okay.
you
The
have
whole,
like, trillions of them tweeting,
yes, yeah.
or shut down Twitter. Like I feel it's all hypocrisy.
It is really.
If you cannot do it secretly, like by yourself, like, if you're banned from doing it from home,
Yeah,
then you would, like, support him.
of course.
But because you can do things
Yeah,
sleazy, and catfish and all is
yeah, yeah, yeah.
happening, you can pretend to be somebody else, and you pick on people because it allows you to be angry at another person who you cannot control inside. And I think it's all jealousy.
Yeah,
It
of
all
course.
boils down to, I wish I had
The
the
power
ability
and
to be a president,
yeah,
and he is just like me, and
yes,
he's the president, versus I couldn't.
yeah, of course.
So that's all. Its bottom line is, I feel I am bigger than him,
Yeah,
and so he needs to come
yeah, of
down.
course.
He
I
needs to
get
be
that.
shrunk
That
down.
makes sense.
And I was thinking that's not okay.
It's not okay.